Those are brain conditions in the community, caregivers, medical professionals, organizations, anyone associated with brain injuries, to share their stories and provide resources and tips to those impacted. Today's episode, I have Alex come from Neurofit TV. I'm sorry, Neurofit VR to share information about his organization and things like that. So I'm gonna bring him in now. Welcome, Alex. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey,
Try to do it again part two.
let's do it.
So just dive right in. Your position, things like that. And just you don't have to. You can say like what got you interested in brain health, and just keep it rolling from there.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So no, great to be here, and it's always exciting to be part of these types of opportunities and share the story with individuals who are might be going through similar challenges. So to tell you a little bit about what we're doing, so Neurofit for me really started from a personal place, and it really began with my dad. And so in 2007, he had a really significant and life changing stroke, which essentially, kind of brought me from like son to caregiver. And as a caregiver, I really started to see a lot of different challenges and needs and kind of perspective by navigating that kind of healthcare continuum. So much so that I really wanted to take this and work on it myself. And so I had used that kind of experience to fuel my interest in what inevitably became my master's degree. So I don't have a cool background today, but I have my master's hanging out behind me. And so my focus of my work was within the space of rehabilitation, neural rehabilitation, mechanisms of recovery, but looking more specific at how can we better support individuals in their own unique ways. And so that's really where Neurofit started. But ultimately, it's become so much more since then. So we're just coming up to our 2-year anniversary, and we've been able to support individuals with brain injury around the world. So it started with just a personal story, and now it's become how can we help people like my dad all around the world and beyond. And so that's really the story of what it is, where it's gone. But really what we've been able to do is we've created something that really looks at what your unique needs are in therapy. So the analogy I like to give is you can think of it as kind of like the Fitbit for the brain.
Right.
So it helps you make more educated like decisions based on your needs, your mood, your abilities, and that experience in those therapeutic exercises help guide you kind of like stepping stones towards your goal. And so that is how we've done it. We've worked with many stroke, brain injury survivors, but beyond. So we've worked as young as 5 years old all the way to 101 year old as well. So that's kind of us in a nutshell. But yeah. That's Neurofit.
So give us a brief rundown of Brain Boot Camp and what that was all about.
Yeah, so the Brain Boot Camp was a short-term kind of initiative that we put out right at the beginning of the pandemic to support individuals more inclusively and a more accessible way. So, right at the beginning, gyms were closing down, clinics were closing down, options for individuals seeking care were really restricted in a lot of ways. Now, this can be particularly frustrating. So really with Brain Bootcamp, we wanted to create a short-term kind of fast-paced, energetic experience where you can use Neurofit, have fun, and try to dip your toe in the water of what does it mean to do virtual care, right? And so those were a couple of the things that we've done. And since then, we've kind of explored more options beyond that and working with therapists, clinicians, hospitals, and clinics really of all shapes and sizes. And so that Brain Bootcamp was just kind of like our fun kind of like approach to supporting people during a very critical time of the pandemic.
So are there any indications that someone needs to do work on their brain health? Like, are there any signs that people?
Yeah, so I mean, there's always different types of things that you can rely on. Again, we work with the professionals because we know that they, in conjunction with the patients or just people receiving care, um, can better make better decisions on what their needs are. But in general, what we typically see is that, individuals who might be like in the post acute stage of recovery and rehab. So those are individuals who are maybe like 9 to 12 months after their stroke or their brain injury or any sort of incident, and they're looking for something to, to support their progress, but they really don't have a need to go maybe into the clinic or into the hospital, or maybe they don't have a budget for doing things too consistently, and maybe that creates more gaps in their therapy times. So really, Neurofit is meant to, like, our big thing that we say is, connecting the dots, and really that's in multiple ways. Like whether it be connecting the dots from patients to professionals, families to the to their loved ones, but also really understanding your place in your recovery journey, because it is a journey. It's for some people it can be a couple of years, and others it can be an entire lifetime. So my answer to you is just really the indications of people needing support with their brain health are heavily reliant on where they are in their life. Are they willing to bring something like new and exciting ways to support their care into their life? Are they open to new ideas? But most importantly, the sense of support and community that they build with their friends, family, loved ones, and caregivers. So those are kind of the ways that we assess that, but there really is no hard and fast rule. It's not like, a cast where if you break your arm, you get a cast, right? So the criteria is you got to have a broken bone. Whereas with Neurofit, it's more like, for individuals, some individuals are older folks that we work with. It's more about staying independent, building that sense of kind of, clarity in their thinking, in their processing. And then all the way on the other side of the spectrum, it can be building those cognitive skills so that they can approach tasks in their everyday life, like going grocery shopping, or remembering friends' names, or remembering a phone number, or feeling comfortable in navigating new environments. How do relying on different cues and landmarks. So those are just some ideas, but again, it's really meant to be flexible. So that's the way we've created it.
Okay. So so I guess the plans are tailored to the people. Like you said, the patients. It's why you work closely with the therapist, so they can tell you like, well, this person has this thing going on, that person has that thing going on with them. So it's not like one size fits all.
No, 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 no. So if you jump into Neurofit, your experience will be totally different than anyone else's, because it automatically calibrates to you. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to touch anything. It uses machine learning and all that great stuff in the background to evaluate and say, okay, I think we know what Erica needs. How can we make it not too difficult, but not too easy? Because if it's too hard, you get frustrated, you get angry, you get upset. If it's too easy, you get bored, you give up, you say, why do I need this? It's not for me. So we want to find something in between, and that changes every single time you use it. And so that's literally what Neurofit is all about. And that's been our goal from day one. So while it started with brain injury, it's become more. We work with people with autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy, fetal alcohol syndrome, dementia, Alzheimer's. Really, it's ballooned into, yes, we help core individuals at the start, but other individuals have equally benefited from it as well too. And that's really part of the journey. So creating that sense of accommodation.
It's kind of universal. So
In some ways. Now we can't bake you a cake, we can't make you a coffee, we can't do anything like that for you, but it is much more inclusive and open to neurological conditions as a whole. And a lot of things do affect the brain. Even now with COVID, there's a lot of people with COVID with our partners in the Netherlands and Australia who are recognizing that COVID itself. Hi, Tia. Someone said hi in the chat. Um, um, some individuals with COVID now we're noticing have symptoms that look like stroke.
Mm.
So there's these neurological symptoms that are associated with something like COVID. Now, this is interesting. This is something new. Obviously, we're still learning a lot about the
Mm.
coronavirus, but at the same time, we want to understand how can we support you, and
Right.
that's really what we're doing with Neurofit. So yeah, that's it's. I wouldn't say universal, but it does have broader applications.
Gotcha. And so explain to me like the process of it. So do I order it? Or how do I access it? Do I order it online or do I call the number and say, hey, I want to try Neurofit. What's the process? What's the process?
Yeah, super simple. You literally just go on neurofit.ca and then just click get started or try demo or something like that, right? You just check it out online, and then one of the members of the team will reach out to you, and we'll walk through things with you. We'll understand kind of where you're coming from, what your needs are,
Mm.
what type of support you're looking for, but most importantly, what are your goals? What's important to you, right? Because it's like, yes, it is fun, it's engaging, but at the end of the day,
Right.
we want people to feel that this is meaningful in their life and they're ready to work with it, right? So that's kind of what we've been able to demonstrate.
Now, are there games on there, or is it just strictly learning stuff, or is it a variety of things?
Good question. So right now, they're kind of like gamified therapeutic exercises. So they feel fun, they feel like a game, but underneath the hood, they're all based on science, research, and a lot of professional support. So we work with some of the top scientists and researchers here in Canada, but also now internationally in Florida, over in North Carolina, in LA. So we've got some really great people to help inform and suggest kind of ways to improve Neurofit. But yeah, like in terms of just like getting started, just reach out. I would love to chat, and we could set something up and figure out ways to help you.
Okay, I love that. It's very comforting. Um, so I saw on your IG page there's a newsletter called the I'm sorry, Neurofit Research Neurofit Newsletter Research Rundown. What?
Yeah. So research rundown is basically we wanted to find ways to excuse me to provide cutting edge research in simple ways for our audience. So whether that be, as I might have mentioned a little earlier, we spoke actually before the call. A lot of the stuff was, you know, with research, a lot of the stuff exists oftentimes within individuals who are just like you. So if you're a neuroscientist, only real the majority of the time neuroscientists are reading those papers. So they're people just like the people who publish them. Now, we wanted to say, well, how can we bring this research to a broader community? How can we make it more accessible? How can we break down those barriers so that more people can understand options, opportunities, what breakthroughs are happening in the science and the literature? So, Research Rundown basically takes those big complicated topics and turns them into like a little paragraph of information and what does it mean, and then if the person's curious they can read more, but at the same time it's a nice way to kind of get bite-sized chunks of science and information delivered to you monthly.
Okay. Can you tell us one reason why it's important for survivors to participate in Neurofit's web? I believe it's called Neurofit Web.
Correct.
Can you tell me one reason why it's important for survivors to uh,
What one reason why it's important, you said?
to participate in that? I mean, because if you never work on your brain health,
Yeah.
what possibly like your health criteria? What would you say is
Yeah.
that effect or negative effect based off of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one reason why I would just say, like, I would encourage people to just try it out, just get started, because oftentimes when you're doing things like in therapy or rehab or any just sort of wellness and brain health type of protocols, oftentimes it's very difficult for individuals to see, why does it matter, right? It's just like, why do I need to eat healthy? Why do I need to go and exercise every day? Why do I want to read a book? The reason why is because cumulatively these things impact your life. And that's really what we wanted to do with Neurofit is, yes, on the surface, it might feel like a fun thing to do. And you might say, well, if it's fun, is it really helping me? And yeah, it is. So I would just encourage people to get started, try it out, because the the cumulative effects will really do great things in the long run. And that's why I said from the beginning that this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's how long can you approach, and how long can you continue this journey, and doing it in ways that supports you, your goals, and how can we get you to a place where you're feeling good in your life, and whether that be in cognitively, whether that be physically. Again, we're part of an ecosystem, and that's really what I want to just demonstrate. So the benefit, I would just say, is that there's a multitude of benefits, but for everyone it impacts their lives differently. But we have been shown to support the cognitive and like kind of cognitive abilities, their mood, managing their mood, independence, confidence, and motivation, engagement, all the way to people feeling that Neurofit has helped them just get more of an initiative to try new things as well. Because, it's easy to say, well, I don't need anything. I'm alive. Isn't that all I need? Or I'm fine. I don't need therapy because what do I need it for? Right. And reasonable answers. But at the end of the day, you can't put a price on kind of building those skills and supporting yourself and building a better version of yourself day over day, week over week, and month over month. And that's what we're trying to do. And again, it's literally like the price of a cup of coffee is what it works out to. So like at least a Starbucks coffee, you know what I mean? So it's that's really what we wanted to do. Just low cost, affordable, accessible access to care.
So when it comes to neuroplasticity, if you know neuroplasticity basically doing the same thing over and over again, your brain will create pathways to memorize a certain movement or something like that. How do you think Neurofit fits into that? Is it the same type of thing? If you practice it so many times, you're going to get used to it and adjust to it, or you think that kind of coincides with the same thing?
Yeah, well, in neuroplasticity, there's like a very common expression, the neurons that fire together wire together. So the idea is that, how do we build skills by
Yeah.
building repetitive, ongoing, consistent training programs? That's the key thing, right? Consistency. So with NeuroFit, it literally, all you need is 5 minutes a day,
Hmm.
2 to 3 days a week, and you will see benefits. So
Really?
it's not meant to be something where you got to take your whole day or
Wow.
hours. It's just something that's meant to be focused, and you sprinkle it in if you got a few minutes. If you're on this call right now, you could do it in 5 minutes and then you're done for the day. But again, consistency, repetitiveness, right? That's how you build new neurons, new areas of the brain, strengthen and recover areas of deficits or challenges observed either cognitively or even physically, right? We're interconnected. If you for example, it's like, if you break your wrist, do you just fix the wrist? Well, no, it's the wrist and the elbow and the palm and the shoulder. They're all interconnected. And that's what it's like with Neurofit. When you start with areas in the brain, they're all interconnected, because while you start with memory or processing, you'll see it impacts things like decision making,
Mm.
your level of kind of resilience, your confidence. So there's a lot of different things that it impacts directly and indirectly. But yeah, so that's my kind of long-winded answer for that question.
Lots of benefits. I love that. It's such a it's very comforting. Just 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes a day to take the pain away. Just something like
Well, that's just kind of the starting point, right? But again, just like anything in life, the more you put into it, the more
that.
you get out of it.
Absolutely.
Simple as that, right?
So, how do you encourage other people to bring awareness to strokes and brain injuries? What would be your thing to encourage people to get more involved and make more opportunities, or just get involved and just spread awareness about it?
Yeah, I mean, just ask questions. Just ask questions. Do your research. Learn. We want to promote people to be their own advocates. Really, Neurofit from the beginning. We've always made ourselves patient-centered, professionally supported.
Okay.
Means only you know what you need, but professionals are there to help support that. Use the science. Use their talents, their skills, their abilities. Okay. Now, so I would just say, number one, do your research, be informed, learn, ask questions, be curious, and two, find communities of individuals who are willing to support that, whether it be Neurofit, online, your initiative. A lot of the stuff that there's a lot of people out there that say, hey, we might not know what you're going through right now, but we're here to help you. We're here to be a shoulder to lean on, to provide a community of like minded individuals who will bring perspective. And I think that's the most important thing because it can feel alone. It
Oh,
could
yeah.
feel very like there's a lot of solitude in the process, right? So I think, we just really want to make sure that individuals are feeling recognized and their voices are heard.
So what's next for Neurofit?
What's next? Lots of stuff is happening. Things happening even as we're talking right now. So what's next? We got a lot of great things happening coming up. Feature new kind of things included on Neurofit's system,
Mm-hmm.
and more accessibility features,
Mm-hmm.
ways to just kind of working with new places around the world. Just really building that sense of community.
Okay.
And yeah, so like lots of different things, to be honest. But I mean, it all boils down to how can we keep how can we continue to make a great experience for people seeking care, the families trying to support others, and just really make this journey manageable and enjoyable at the same time. So that's the most important thing, and that if we keep that in our mind, we're happy when people are kind of sharing their success stories with us.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you for taking the time out to interview with me. I need things to do. So Sarah, I can reach out to you and get information about Neurofit.
Sounds good. Great to speak with you and great to see everyone. Thank you.
That's how we can get in contact with you and follow you and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. So you can check us out, Neurofitvr, all social media channels, just like the handle on the screen right now. But you can also check us out at neurofit.ca and reach out you'll find our contact information. Learn more. We're on YouTube as well, so you can learn about what that looks like firsthand. And yeah, that's no shortage of opportunities to check us out online. But thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for your time, and thank you for watching TBI Uncovered.
Thank
Because
you.
I tell the story, first story, or tips impact those impacted. So we'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks.